board please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Our packed house tonight. It's a beautiful night out there, but for some reason people feel more compelled to come here. So we're thankful for that. For tonight's invocation, please join me in a moment of silence to offer your own intentions. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll. Here. 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 Again, welcome everyone tonight. It's always great to have a packed room, so we appreciate that. We happen to have a lot of changes on the agenda tonight. The agendas are up front, so feel free to take one if you have it. We do have a couple add-ons. Add-on number 1 is going to come after number 8. 8 on the agenda item, which is a secret determination, which has to come before we take up other business. We then go on to resolution number 9. We'll call on the engineer for the developer for a presentation before we take up resolution number 9. And we also have add-ons 2, which is setting a public hearing for June 21st here regarding a request from Fieldstone Partners regarding a waiver for street standards on the development they are working on. And then we have add-on number 3, which is after item 15, which is a resolution establishing standard workdays for the New York State retirement. And we have add-on number 4, which is resolution amending another resolution regarding the village and town joint municipal survey committee, adding 2 members to that, residential members. And then we have add-on number 5, which is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a public benefit service agreement related to a grant between Schenectady County and the town of Glenville. From there, we have a resolution on the agenda to go into executive session. We will go into executive session. You are free and welcome to stay here if you choose. We'll go in the other room, we'll talk, we'll do our business, we'll come back out and pick up the rest of the agenda, rest of the items on the agenda, which are 2 other items, 17 and 18. And I am remiss to mention there are 2 more add-ons that we didn't make the resolution. Add-on number 6, which is a resolution authorizing the Public Works Commissioner to enter into a consent order from the Public Service Commission. And add-on number 7, calling for a special meeting for June 14th, which is currently just a work session, but will be a special meeting of the town board on the 14th of June. So after that, I'm exhausted. I'm ready for a break. We'll start with town council reports on my left. Councilman Hennel.
I have 2 things this evening. One, I'd like to welcome our newest visitors to the town of Glenville. Yesterday, the Homewood Suites, our first hotel in the town, and that's compliments to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning and Zoning, and obviously the members of this town board that were instrumental in bringing that business to Glenville. So welcome to Homewood Suites and that property. The other thing is on Monday, May 29th, which is Memorial Day, the Glenville Rotary will be sponsoring an observance at the Schenectady County Park at the corner down by Thomas Corners at 11 o'clock in the morning. So if anybody would like to attend, it's always great to recognize.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rossi.
I just have one item, Mr. Supervisor. Councilman Hell and I were very pleased to represent the town at the ribbon cutting last Friday evening at the Glass Tavern Restaurant down in University Plaza. It was a very well-attended event, and I'd like to extend congratulations to Glass Tavern for their continued success in our community. And if you haven't been there, you should probably go because it's pretty delicious.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I missed that, and thank you for stepping in, both of you. I had another commitment. It was my daughter's prom, so I couldn't make that event. I cried all night, so I can tell you that right now. Councilman Martin.
Nothing other than to reiterate what was previously said about welcoming the new hotel to town, and congratulations to the Glass Tavern.
Thank you. Councilman Titlavani.
Yes, I attended the Scotia Memorial Day Parade Committee meeting last week. Everything is all set. The parade will be Wednesday, May 24th. It starts at 6:15. I can't tell you how many years they've been doing it, but it's an awesome event for all the members of the village and the town. Also, I'd like to say that I've attended a couple of meetings for the Cruising on the Avenue Car Show. However, I am the chairman of the Cruising on the Avenue Car Show, so I have attended many meetings and talked to many people. That is the 19th annual car show, Mohawk Avenue in the village of Scotia, where they close the road right from Saginaw Road to the Western Gateway Bridge. It's an awesome event. Last year we had 278 show vehicles, and that is on Father's Day, June 18th. Starts at 1 o'clock, goes to 5 o'clock.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is a public hearing to hear all those interested in the matter regarding a proposed zone map amendment involving the property at 207 to 213 Saginaw Road, changing the zoning of that from general business to mixed-use plan development and creating a mixed-use plan development district on such parcels of real property within the town of Glenville. I know we have the developer here, and Luigi, would you like to do a presentation? You don't, in the future, you can use the big screen. You know,
That's right. I'm old school.
I guess.
Good evening, Luigi Palesci with ABD Engineers, here tonight for the project located at 203 to 213 Saginaw Road. The project is located on Saginaw Road, which is to my east here, Birch Parkway to the north. It's just north of the Scotia Glenville High School, just east of the industrial park, and to the north on the opposite side of Birch Parkway is two 8-unit apartment buildings that currently exist. The parcel is 7.27 acres. It's currently zoned general business, and we're here tonight to ask for a proposed planned development district to make way for this project. We've been before this board several times. We've been before the planning board several times, and we've taken many considerations in this plan. Up front along Saginaw Road, we're keeping that commercial and retail. We're proposing a 4,800 square foot retail building on the first floor located on what's known as Lot 1. Sorry, that was one of the many revisions. Same thing, 4,800 square foot on the first floor known as Lot 1, and on the second floor is 4 apartment units. Lot 2 would come off of Birch Parkway. There's 9 8-unit apartment buildings. They're 2 stories in height, which would total 72 units in the back. There are 36 detached garages that would encompass the project for the apartment buildings. There's roughly 168 parking spaces on the surface. There's open space areas and amenities where we have barbecue pits, a gazebo for the residents at that complex. Lot number 3 is set up for a future development. We're unsure of, we don't have any tenants at this time, but we certainly are setting that up for future development. And that future development would entail access off of Birch Parkway as well as the one off of Saginaw Road to serve lots 1 and 3. There are water and sewer available on site. The water district is the town of Glenville. There is a 12-inch water main that exists along the north. We'll be connecting to that and looping around. The sewer is the village of Scotia, which our project will have gravity sewers going to a private pump station that will then pump to the village sewer system. I also have with me what the buildings will look like. They're very architecturally pleasing. These 3 buildings here are different views of the 8-unit apartment building. As you can see, a lot of good characteristics, 2 stories. And this is the 4,800 square foot retail building with the 4 units above. At this time, I'll turn it over to the board.
Thank you, Luigi. Before we open it up to potential questions, and I know this is a public hearing for the public, so we want to get to that. I do want to point out in the PUD, and for some folks here who have asked me what a PUD is, I think the easiest, just in layman's terms, is basically, it's right now you have some different zoning there, potentially general business, commercial, maybe residential. PUD is kind of an overlay that allows us to work with a mixed use. That's just the easiest and simplest way to think of what a PUD is. So it's actually a piece of legislation that we're writing into the zoning code. And one of the things I want to point out, the legislation is up here if you didn't receive it already, but there's a few pages to it. I do want to point out a few things that are in the legislation regarding what are the uses for some of these buildings. And so we say that, I'll just pick up from page 2 essentially, that the 4,800 square foot building area and additional commercial space essentially would be consistent with commercial development, uses that are permitted in general business, except no automobile dealerships, automobile repair shops, car washes, massage parlors, baker shops, tattoo parlors, or liquor stores shall be permitted. Nor shall any retail establishment sell tobacco, tobacco-related, or tobacco substitute products be permitted unless the tobacco is a substitute product comprising less than 5% of the total retail floor space or less than 5% of the total retail shelf space, whichever is less. So there are some of those restrictions in place, and that was negotiated between the school district, the developer, and the town board. Also regarding parcel 3, regarding gasoline dispensing pumps and any overhead canopy construction parallel to Burke Parkway, the automobile repair shops are prohibited and shall be construed to prohibit any automotive parts retail. Would not be, I'm sorry, Mr. Would not, sorry. Just testing you, Luigi, making sure they provide any ancillary services such as, retail of tires, batteries, windshield wipers, etc. Think of, Pep Boys or Napa or something like that, but not to perform general automotive repair. Further, sidewalk improvement is required along parcel 1 and parcel 3 on Second Dotted Road. So then I just wanted to point out to keep it in mind. Now with that, any other maybe brief questions for Luigi if you have any?
I just thought I recall that the gas canopy was not to be located in the front yard.
Correct, yeah, we had agreed to put it somewhere on the side facing Birch Parkway.
Constructed parallel to Birch.
Okay. All right, want to clarify that, get that on the record.
Okay.
Anything else for Luigi before we open this up? Thank you, Luigi. Thank you. So with that, the public hearing is actually open, so anyone wish to be heard on this matter? Judy?
Hello, my name is Judy Reitmeyer, and I'm the director of the Capital District Tobacco Free Coalition, Capital District Tobacco Free Communities, I guess we actually just changed our name, and I'm also a Town of Glenville resident. So the grant that I direct is one put out by New York State Department of Health, the Bureau of Tobacco Control, and what we do is to try to do best practice for municipalities, for policy change, for community change that will decrease youth tobacco use. We know that 90% of people start smoking before they're 18, so if we are going to address tobacco use and try to decrease it, we need to stop our young people from starting. CDC did some work and some research and found that the more often young people walk by tobacco, the more often they see ads, the higher their rates of using tobacco. There's research that shows that tobacco is more prevalent near schools Youth exposure to tobacco advertising can lead to increased youth initiation, like I had shared. And I am here to ask that there be no tobacco sales in this development, not even limited to that 5%. This is going to be right near the high school, and so I'd like to see it be included that just like there's no vape shops, no liquor stores, that tobacco also not be allowed. And the rationale for that is it's certainly going to cost lives, but it's also going to cost money for the town in regards to health. So I wanted to share that. I also wanted to share that the town of Glenville already has 21 tobacco retailers in the town of Glenville and 2 vape shops. And when you look at what positive resources the town of Glenville have, you have 5 parks, 1 library, and 1 youth center. So it's kind of, I don't like this proportion of, 21 places that you can buy cigarettes, but only, 5 where you can go run around and use a little weight that I need to do. So anyways, I want to leave you with a little map that shows where the tobacco retailers are currently, how they're near schools, and where they're near youth places already, information with some of the citations for the problem with tobacco sales near schools, and also what Niskayuna, the town of Niskayuna has done, which is institute a zoning change that says no tobacco sales within 1,000 feet of schools or 1,000 feet of daycare, which might be something that the town wants to. Can I just leave this for you?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy. Anyone else wish to be heard on this matter regarding this particular development? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. We'll move to our second public hearing, which is the public hearing to hear all those interested with respect to the proposed construction of a recreational path in the area of Glenridge Road in the town of Glenville. Let me get Penny set up first. Out with the old and with the new.
There you go.
Let me just plug in. It's sitting without battery. Stop the plug. Yeah, no, Gina is. Okay, so now we will open the public hearing with the presentation on the recreational bike path.
Hi, yes, my name is Jenny Littman. I am with MJ Engineering, and I'm here to just give you an introduction and background to the proposed project for sidewalks along Glenridge Road. Essentially, the project encompasses about a half mile of new sidewalks that would be about 5 feet in width, constructed of asphalt, and that would begin at the Woodhaven development entrance and terminate here at County Control. So the project scope is essentially to provide a safe pedestrian connection between the Woodhaven neighborhood and the town center, which is a great need in the town of Glenville. So I want to briefly discuss the project challenges which led us to the final decision and final design of the project. We have a limited right-of-way. The right-of-way, which is basically public-owned property along the roadway, is 60 feet in width, which means we have about 30 feet in the center of the road outwards, which leaves us with only about 15 feet really from the edge of pavement and into the lawn space for the construction of the project. In some places, a lot less than that. We have steep slopes right near the Hilltop House. And we have a lot of utility conflicts, specifically light poles and stormwater infrastructure. So again, we analyzed a couple different design parameters. Originally, when we started the project, the ideal was to have an 8 to 10 foot wide asphalt multi-use trail, which could be used by bicyclists, pedestrians, great for strollers and things of that nature. Again, bring residents from the area near Woodhaven into town center. Again, because of site constraints, we did also analyze using just a typical 5 foot wide concrete path. We looked at different materials, stone dust, asphalt, concrete, which are the typical types of materials used in sidewalk construction. And again, looking at logistics and requirements by DOT and the county, we would need to be 4 foot off of the shoulder or the edge of pavement. Otherwise, we would need a barrier like a curb or a guide rail. So those were the site constraints that we dealt with initially. I apologize. So the pros and cons of that, obviously a wider path would be great, but it would require more easements and more land agreements. The material, stone dust, even though it's least expensive, it's a lot less durable, requires a lot more maintenance, not as user-friendly for bicyclists and strollers. Asphalt's more durable and more expensive. And then concrete, while most town centers are gravitating towards concrete because they look nicer, they're much more expensive, but they are more durable. Then additionally, we were really holding that 4 foot or greater from the shoulder line on the project in an effort to reduce the need for curbing, which is expensive and also creates additional stormwater runoff concerns. And maintaining that balance between the required easements needed and that need for a barrier between the roadway. So the final selection, ultimately due to the easement constraints and the road location, was to go with a 5 foot width, but we did choose asphalt for that material. Again, looking at the cost-benefit balance that we were trying to achieve to give you the hard surface that was desired by users, while also, maintaining the restrictions or eliminating the restrictions and challenges of the project. We will be using concrete at road intersections, essentially to give you the curb ramps that you need to get for access at those locations. And that's mostly going to be here in town center. There wouldn't be at driveways. And then again, we'll maintain that 4 foot strip between the roadway and the sidewalk, and that will be grassed. So right now, where the project stands is DOT has given approval to the project. They've reviewed the plans and then their concurrence that they meet with all of their regulations and requirements. The town is currently going through the SEQR, or the environmental review process for the project. And they've been in contact with property owners that are attempting to secure easements for the project. Moving forward, we're continuing to need utilities because there are several light or power poles in the way that maybe could be moved to minimize the amount of easements that are needed, or some other type of benefit to that. That those conversations are still happening. And then again, the town looking to do this project themselves to save on costs is preparing to complete the project this season. So that's a real brief summary. Again, we're open to any questions.
Maybe someone could just close that door. We just put the little doors in that there. For the board right now, any questions on the presentation? We'll open up to the public to speak, and if they have questions, they can ask, and we'll ask you for it. So, thank you. So, we have folks signed up for privilege of the floor, and every one of them wants to speak on the walkway. You can speak under the public hearing, or you can speak under the privilege of the floor, or you can speak under both, just so you know. So the privilege of the floor, the public hearing is now open. Anyone wish, yes ma'am.
Hi.
We just
Should I walk here?
asked, we asked that you come to the front.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
State your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Nancy Cannell. I live in Woodhaven at 102 Governor Drive. I've been living in Woodhaven for almost 50 years. And I'm going to just try to read this. It's pretty short. I think what the town is proposing is not just an aesthetic or fun change to Glenridge Road. It's an improvement that will go a long way toward making Glenridge Road a safer road to travel on. As Glenridge Road is now, it is an accident or death waiting to happen. The town has improved the area from Route 50 to the town hall. It's attractive and a vast improvement on that part of the road. And the lights have made that portion of the road safer. The area of Glenridge Road from Woodhaven to the crest of the hill by the cemetery is problematic. There's a large population now, and people enjoy walking a lot more than they did in the past. Many people enjoy walking to the shopping centers on Route 50. They are not only from Woodhaven, but from further up the road. And there are young people coming from the Conifer Park Treatment Facility who walk along that road as well. There are also bicyclists that travel along the road. The area from the entrance to Woodhaven to the crest of the hill by the cemetery is a dangerous area to travel on for walkers, for bicyclists, and for motor vehicles. It's very dark at night, and the road markers along the road on the side of the road don't show up very well. One cannot see approaching vehicles coming over the crest of the hill from Route 50 because the topography of the land obscures them from view until they reach the crest of the hill. In addition, the shoulder of the road narrows by about half on the cemetery side where the crest of the hill is. And there are bushes and trees exactly at that point in the road. This forces anyone walking along that side of the road to walk closer to traffic. Should a pedestrian or bicyclist be traveling at this point in the road, and two cars were to come over the crest of the hill at the same time in opposite directions, the position for a head-on collision is high, and the potential for bodily harm is high as well. In such an instance, both cars would have to move over to avoid a collision, jeopardizing anyone walking or cycling. The situation is even worse in the winter when the road edge is obscured even more and snow on the side of the road encroaches into the traveling lanes. A walkway would be a vast safety improvement, and the addition of lighting along this part of the road would be of enormous help. I really hope this project can go forward. I don't want to see anybody get hurt because of the safety issues.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Yes, sir. We'll go to this gentleman first.
Hi, my name is Sean Bushwick. I live at 14 Mountainwood Drive in Woodhaven. I'm married to the former Tricia Rice, who grew up behind McDonald's on Alpha Bay. And we lived, I should have introduced my dog, I'm sorry. This is Dolly. We raise guide dogs. And so she needs to come for practice, these kinds of things. So we're practicing right now, her sitting on my dog. My wife's from here, as I mentioned, and we lived about 11 years ago. Prior to that, we lived in Silver Spring, Maryland. I lived in a suburb inside the Beltway between 16th Street, which is where the president lives, and George Avenue, two of the busiest streets in Maryland. I lived in a little town, a little neighborhood that we all kind of knew each other, a little bit like Woodhaven. Lived about a mile from a grocery store, a mile from a library. And when my kids were little, we used to go there about once a week. And we had a good experience of being able to go get out and about. My wife decided it would be nice to live near family, and we decided to move here. And we picked a community close to where she lived, and she had had a good experience as a kid, walking to the Kmart, going to Friendly's, and having an experience of something that we had valued, that we thought we were going to have at Silver Spring as well, where kids could walk to places, we could walk to places, we could give the kids some independence so that they could learn how to do things on their own. We could walk a dog. I had lived in Woodhaven for 11 years. I had been to Glenbridge on my bike once. I've never walked there. It's about the same distance as the grocery store and the library was where I lived in Silver Spring. Again, where 150,000 cars go by every day. And the only difference is the lack of sidewalk. It's the only difference. And I think it has a huge effect on the quality of life. We live in a fairly large development with 3 separate developments. There is no open space in any of there. In any part, there's no parking in the entire subdivision. We used to have a swimming pool that is now gone. We have no place to central visit. But the good news is we live about a mile from a library and from the town center. And we can go there if we could get there. And we can't get there because it's not safe to go there. You can't let a 15-year-old kid drive a bike on that road. You just can't. And I think this is a simple solution to a big problem that will greatly enhance the quality of life for a lot of people. Why should the first time my kid goes to a grocery store by herself be when she can drive when she's 16? That's crazy, right? She can drive or bike there, and she's able to do that. If there was a safe way up for that half mile. I would have liked to see, I'm a little disappointed, in the newspaper article that was written about this before, there was the 8 to 10 foot path was the preferred option. I think that's better. A little concerned about, I think people are gonna ride bikes on the sidewalk, whether you want them to or not. And I think that's a little dangerous. I think if you ever go to Woodhaven, you see lots of people walking strollers and lots of people walk around Woodhaven. They just go around and around and around, right? So you're gonna get lots of people going into town if you have someplace to walk to. There's lots of restaurants and things like that. And having no separation between for the strollers and the bikes and the walking, I think is gonna be a big problem. I understand that you try to maximize, you're threading the needle here. I think you should really reconsider that choice if possible, but I think the 5 foot sidewalk is a step in the right direction, and I think it will dramatically enhance the quality of life for lots of people. And frankly, if it had existed, it would have fundamentally changed the way my kids grow up. They've literally never been able to go to a store by themselves. I go to CVS, I sit in the drive parking lot, and I kick them out, and I say, go to CVS by yourself. That's ridiculous, but that's how, they're gonna have to learn these skills. And I don't see why, it's a beautiful library. Why do I have to drive there every time? So I think that this is, I'm very glad to see this is being done. I'd like to see it, I'd like, and I understand there's some other issues, but I really think this is a good step in the right direction, and I want to strongly encourage you to take this step. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, oh, man. This is a good dog. You're doing a good job. You gotta come train my dog.
I'm going to leave now just to give her a break.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Emily Quinlan, and I rise to speak in support of the sidewalks. I agree that the 8 to 10 foot path would have been preferable, but given where we are, I understand why we're going with a 5 foot path. I live on Pinewood, and in Woodhaven, and I have 2 very small children. I grew up in a community where we could walk everywhere, and I think that it's an important part and aspect of growing up to be able to walk to places and to not have to get in the car. Speaking as a young mother, the ability to put my kids in a stroller and walk somewhere and go to the store is much more convenient than having to buckle 2 small children into car seats simply to unbuckle them to then walk somewhere. While I understand the aspects of this that could be difficult, especially concerning receiving easements and the concerns that are there, I feel the overall public benefit is widely enhanced by inputting sidewalks that can be used by the entire community, not just those in Woodhaven, but those along the rest of Glenridge Road, as well as people who want to participate in maybe a longer walk where you can join the 2 communities on either side of Saratoga Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be, I saw this hand first. Your hand, Sonia.
Good evening. My name is Sonia Tompkins. My husband and I, Robert Tompkins, reside at 44 Glenridge Road, which is property that probably has the most frontage for this property, the most private property. We have approximately 415 feet that will be affected by this plan. My husband and I have spoken with our attorney, as I'm sure everybody else would do in this situation, and we've crafted a letter with her, and I'd like to read that letter to you folks at this time. Her name is Michelle Wilgroovy, and she states, I have been retained by Sonia and Robert Tompkins with regard to a proposed easement on their property in connection with construction and maintenance of a recreational path that has been submitted by the town of Glenville. I am in receipt of the proposed easement agreement. The maps showing the easement as it affects neighboring properties, resolution number 116-2017, concerning the easement, and the seeker notice of establishment of lead agency, all of which she has reviewed with her clients. We acknowledge that the value of the project to the community and believe it is well-intentioned. However, we do have concerns regarding the safety and logistics of the proposed recreational path and easement. The easement that is proposed is located in the corner of my client's property, does not include any portion of the path. However, it proposes to rebuild the drainage pipe and culvert located at the corner of my client's property. At this point, we do not have enough information for me to recommend that my clients sign the easement. We have the following concerns which we would request that the town address. Number one, safety. Of utmost concern is the safety of the path as it will be located parallel to my client's property line. We would request that a topographical survey or grading plan be presented. The path will be at the side of the road currently. My client's property slopes steeply downward from the road. This drop-off could be extremely hazardous if a person were to leave the path to make room for an oncoming or passing pedestrian, bicyclist, skateboarder, rollerblader, which is not unlikely given the recreational nature of the path and the anticipated traffic between Glenville's town center and Woodhaven. While the proposed easement is located in the corner of my client's property, it appears that the grading lines are on my client's property and outside of the scope of the easement. We would like to have a better understanding of what grading is proposed, how this will be handled, and whether the town will maintain the area once the grading is complete. In addition, we believe that lighting along the path is necessary to guide travelers and keep them on the path which will meander along the road. Location of the recreational path. We have received conflicting information from regard to the location of the recreational path. My clients have been informed that the location of the path may change and that it might be located on their property. It is my recommendation that the easement not be finalized until the plans are finalized. Indemnification and insurance. Given the foregoing concerns regarding safety and the expected use of the path, we would ask that the town indemnify my clients in the event of a lawsuit concerning use of the path and injuries sustained in connection therewith. The proposed agreement addresses insurance. However, my clients have potential liability exposure because the path abuts their property and because of the steep grade. In addition, the agreement should contain a provision for review of insurance minimums at a later date, as this easement will run with the property indefinitely. Number 4 is the easement agreement. The proposed easement agreement is for the placement of a recreational path on the client's property. In fact, as currently proposed, the path will not be on the client's property. However, a culvert and drain pipe will be modified and significant grading may be undertaken. We would ask that the easement agreement be tailored to address the work that will be done, including grading and the maintenance of the culvert and the drain pipe. Number 5, compensation. As the expansion of the culvert and the access to the recreational path will impact my client's property, we would expect compensation, which was alluded to in Supervisor Ketzley's enclosure letter. Before the easement can be signed, we would need to know the compensation that will be offered. We would reiterate our support for the plan as the recreational path will benefit my clients and their neighbors. However, we would ask that our concerns be addressed as the town moves forward toward commencement of the project in advance and execution of the easement agreement. Thank you for our considerations.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Anyone else wish to be heard on, I did see the young lady there, yes. And Donna, you're a young lady, but we're coming back to you next.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. My name is Adrienne Craig. I live at 12 Valleywood Drive in the Woodhaven development, and I apologize, a lot of what I say is going to be echoing some of the other speakers who came here to advocate for the walkway. I am a mother of 2 young children, raising a family in Woodhaven. We've lived there for about 3 years, and overall I think this walkway would greatly improve the quality of life that I can offer my kids in this development. I grew up in a small village of Voorheesville, not too far away, but we had sidewalks everywhere. And some of my best memories were after dinner, being able to go for a walk with my family to go out and get an ice cream cone, or to run to a convenience store. My sister and I had a lot of independence, and that independence and self-confidence I try to instill in my children. And as a mother of a daughter who's approaching teenage years, I hope she will have a job, so I will always have to support her. And wouldn't it be wonderful if she could actually transport herself there with all the opportunities for employment that she'd have at City Center, with Target, Hannaford, the library, and it's just ability for us to give our children and our families that sense of independence and that ability to get around. As far as compensation, I think that this improvement overall is going to increase the value of our properties throughout Woodhaven and all along Glenridge by greatly increasing walkability and the saleability factor of all of those homes and properties. I personally am a runner. I have attempted to run on Glenridge. I do not recommend it to any of you. It is not safe. I would not allow my children to walk, ride their bike, or run, even accompanied by an adult. So I think because of the safety issues that were very eloquently laid out earlier, I just want to echo those statements and say that I really hope that this moves forward, and I trust that it will be done correctly so that it's to the benefit of everybody in the development and everybody in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna?
Good evening, I'm Donna Jagan. I'm from the Glenville YMCA, and this evening I would like to speak in favor of the new walkway. At the Y, we work hard to promote youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. One of the groups that we serve on a regular basis is the 11 to 15-year-olds. And these are kids that are at risk if they don't always have a lot to do. One of the things they do like to do is they do like to come to the Y with their friends, and usually that's on foot or bicycle. And I cringe when I see those kids as they pull in and their bikes are out front in the bike racks of the roads that they travel to get there. As I was coming in tonight, I was driving up the hill, and there were two young girls, the sun was in my eyes, and two young teenagers were walking down facing me and on the side of the road. Another large part of our organization is we employ young kids, 16 years and 17-year-olds, who don't always have a form of transportation. We probably hire 50-plus summer camp counselors, lifeguards in the summer, and a lot of them come to work on foot or bicycle. That's another consideration. And then the other large population is the runners and the walkers on all of the roads surrounding Town Center, the Glenville Y, and Indian Meadows, either leaving the Y, the park, or coming to the Y and to the park. The long-term goal to connect Woodhaven to Indian Meadows, the YMCA, and the two bike paths is such a wonderful, safe opportunity for all and for all our recreation. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I see your hand in the back.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sarah Dill. My fiance and I just purchased 30 Glenwood Road. To give you a little background on us, we come from Schenectady, on State Street actually, and we both work nonprofit for a good amount of our lives, about 15 years. We purchased Glenwood Road because it sat back. We have the wooded area in front of us. It was like being in the country without being in the country. And we're still able to access all the roads. And while we are very much town people, we are very much for the betterment of the community, I think that we also need to recognize that the people that, property that it affects, we have to ask them why they purchased that property in the first place. I understand that Woodhaven would like to have a better direct access to Route 50 and the shopping centers there. However, when they purchased that home was there. So I would like us to be heard. We're very, very new. We're new homeowners, and we're very proud. We have a 13, well, he'll be 13. We have a son as well, and he's in Niskayuna school, and we're proud of that. You know, and we're upstanding, you know, citizens of the community. My son's father works direct care with developments of disabled people, and I work for the Community Action Program. So I just want to make sure that, you know, our voice is heard as well, as, you know, it is our property that's affected, and we do sit back a bit, and that's one of the reasons we bought the property. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard on this matter? Going once? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Jason Honemark. I live at 40 Glenridge Road. I'm also a resident that is affected by this walkway. I'm not in favor of it, especially as narrow as it's coming down to, because it was supposed to be an 8-foot walkway. Is that correct?
Apparently it was supposed to be.
8 to 10 feet, something like that. And now they're narrowing it up. I have 4 children. I would never allow my children to walk alongside this state road. There's cars that fly up and down this road constantly. I'm all for towns, improvements and things of that nature. I grew up in the city, just like people that I spoke up here. I have so many sidewalks and places that I've walked to. It's not an interest of mine. I'd rather go to a park and check out the scenery and walk through the parks and everything. To connect people just so they can look at Target and the library, that doesn't make sense to me. This is a beautiful place to go explore. I don't feel like it's necessary to spend the taxpayers' money on something as of this nature. I'm in total agreement with the Tompkins. I also retained a lawyer, Delaney and Greenwich. I needed to come here for answers, which per our last meeting we were supposed to have, which I come to this meeting and it's not a pro-con thing where we can talk it out. That's why I'm here. I mean, I feel like I'm wasting my time because last meeting you, Christopher, had sent me a letter stating that we can voice our concerns and get answers, and we haven't received anything. And I feel like I'm being pushed around without answers. And that's why I didn't come with the letter like she has, which I could have, because I wanted answers today to present to my lawyer so he had the proper information before we pursue. Not only that, it's not a straight walkway going through my yard. It's a horseshoe around a tree, around a telephone pole. And I'm for working everything out, but you guys are creating this liability for us and making us liable for it under contract. The amount of people walking on this state road is going to be, to start, okay, it's going to die out. Everybody's going to want to get out in the summertime and walking back and forth. That's great, but now it's creating a more of a liability for the homeowners on that road that this is affecting. And that's basically all I have before I get answers, and I can present that proper information to my lawyer as well. Like I said, I'm not against it, but I have to have everything in a legal matter and things worked out before this goes through. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else wish to be heard on this matter? Going once, going twice, seeing none, public hearing is now closed. We move on to privilege of the floor, which everybody who's signed up for privilege of the floor has already spoke. Would anyone like to speak again who signed up for that? Privilege of the floor is now open. You can speak about any matter regarding town business. Anyone wish to be heard on privilege of the floor? Going once. Come up, yes. I'm going to give a minute just to file out. Single issue. You might have to look at the wording. Leave it ajar, Brendan. Leave it ajar for the locks on there. Okay, so we're back to the public, back to the floor.
Good evening, my name is Arkley Nasper. I just got a simple clarification question. With regard to add-on resolution number 2, it was my understanding from the work session last week that that resolution was for approval of the road section reduction. I see that it's on the schedule of public hearing. I'm curious as to what changed in the last week.
Actually, we looked back at our practice with respect to those waiver applications and done them with public hearings, and enables the residents, at least their opinion, if anyone has any such opinion. So it's in the nature of amendment for specific property and the requirements of the town.
Yeah, I didn't think the code required a public hearing.
The code doesn't specifically require it, but we're going to...
You're going to err on the side?
Err on the safe side.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
If it's helpful to you, when this was written, we did not have a special meeting for the 14th.
Right. It's scheduled.
Pete speeds it up, we can move to the 14th.
So you've got an extra meeting and you need a few more agenda items to put this to the public hearing. That's okay.
The 21st is okay? Or do you want it for the 14th?
14th is fine, whichever is most convenient.
Can we change that? Yeah. Make the motion. We'll on the resolution.
Thank you.
And actually, even if there's, the board may, although it's a practice typically not, the board may act that night if it's comfortable and there hasn't been any outcry against your road going on.
All right, that's fine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. Anyone else wish to speak at privilege of the floor? Going once, going twice, seeing none. The floor is now closed. We will not have, we're having a long night, we do not have supervisor's comments to the board, so we'll move right on to add-on resolution number 1. It is a resolution issuing a secret determination regarding a zoning map amendment for TJ Development of Glenville LLC to change the zoning of 0.62 acres of property that includes all of 3 Sheffield Road and a portion of 303 Saratoga Road from suburban residential and community business respectively to general business. I need a motion.
I will move it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is on the neg deck, correct?
Correct.
I'd just like to hear a little bit more from the applicant's representative about the buffer area before I can...
Can we, if you're comfortable, we were going to have a presentation before item 9, which is the actual resolution, or do you want to hear it before the next?
Why don't we do it now?
Okay,
Maybe more appropriate.
so let's get that set up for you. Jenny, we're going to take yours out here. Sorry, John, about how close it is. You get some popcorn.
It's like being at the drive-in.
Yes. Should open it. So then you just want to watch. Okay, folks, we're back to the resolution and presentation regarding the zone change. Tony Stellato is the applicant's engineer from Clough Harbor.
Thank you. Tony Stellato, CHA, representing TJ Development. Just to give an opening, a little bit of orientation, I have a couple of slides here. This is the aerial map. I'm going to just refrain from using the laser pointer because proximity of people. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, just don't hit John in the head.
It won't matter.
I need to begin to apologize a little bit for my voice. I was at a regatta in Saratoga this weekend cheering for 2 days straight. I'm just starting to get my voice back, so I'm a little froggy right now. So this is the 303 Saratoga Road site. It's what the town currently knows as the Aldi's project site. The parcel that we are looking at for the zoning district boundary adjustment is here. This is a portion of 303 Saratoga Road, and then this lot right here is 3 Sheffield.
Did I recall that's 0.26 acres in size, that lot?
Yeah, they're both are about 0.3. 3 Sheffield's about a third of an acre. The piece of 303 Saratoga Road is about a third of an acre. And you can see it again. This is the piece of 303 Saratoga Road. This is 3 Sheffield. It shows up on the zoning map with some intermediate boundaries, but at some point all of this was combined into one lot. Now, just quickly, this is the zoning map. I have a blow up on this, but I show the whole map, and it's very hard to see, but this is the area right here where the dot is, where the town center overlay district is. And our site is right there on the northwest end of it. So if you zoom in, you can see this candy stripe pattern is general business. there's this pink or rose-colored zoning district that is community business, and then all around town center and all around the general business is suburban residential. So the point I make here is the predominant zoning district within the town center overlay district is clearly general business. It's centered around the Route 50 Saratoga Road corridor, and it is common that that zone exists with community or with a suburban residential all the way around it. This slide shows on the aerial map in three different colors where the current zoning district boundaries are. The purple lines down in this area are where the community business is. This is the Albee site up here, and this orange line shows the general business zone, and then this black line that mirrors it shows the limits of the town center overlay district. And this house right here is number 3 Sheffield. This is number 7. Both currently are adjacent to the general business zone. What we propose is to just shift that line, which was here, around number 3. We just want to move that back one lot to incorporate number 3 into the general business zone. So this piece of community business and this piece of suburban residential would become general business with the town center overlay district line shifting to incorporate all of the general business.
And then, just for the record, what's the width of the lot as it fronts on Sheffield that's being rezoned? I thought I saw in the tax map about 100 feet.
It seems about right, but I don't have a scale map in front of me. We can check that and get back to you. I just want to point out the general business suburban residential boundary now goes around number 7 Sheffield. This is the original general business boundary here, and we're just bringing it down and taking it down the road like this. So, all of this information, by the way, is included in an application that we submitted to the town board. I think maybe everybody's reviewed it by now. There are a few things that we want to go through. We review the ordinance, and we find that it stipulates that there are several factors that the town board has to consider before it can consider this amendment. The first is that you need a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission, and we went to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they had made that favorable recommendation at their April 10th meeting. The second factor is public hearing. This board held a public hearing on May 3rd. 2 people spoke. You heard their comments. You considered their comments, so you have that information now. And then, in addition to those 2 things, there's 5 additional factors that we need to go through and cover. And I want to do this in some level of detail because I think it's important that we cover the points. But I have paraphrased some of the requirements of code on the slide to avoid a lot of words here. So item number 1 is there needs to be compatibility with the comprehensive plan. And in this case, the comprehensive plan, as you know, is under development, under revision. But we do have the town center master plan, and we know that the town center master plan is going to be integral to the comprehensive plan, especially for this area. So we look to the town center master plan for the goals that it establishes that we want to make sure that we provide compatibility with. And there are 3 goals, three overarching goals in the town center master plan that it presents that we look at. The first is a land use goal. And the land use goal, to summarize, is to establish a critical mass of business activity within the town center overlay district. There's a community design goal, which is very similar. It looks for an integrated walkable community center with a diverse range of uses, a lot of opportunity for people within town to enjoy a town center area. And then thirdly, there's a transportation goal that looks to provide efficient circulation, safe circulation, direct connections to properties, but also internal connections and routes within adjacent development. So we look at all three of these goals and what are we trying to achieve? We're taking an existing vacant piece of property that really sits within the town center overlay district, and we're providing zoning that is compatible with the larger Aldi site which sits next to it, so that we can provide a contiguous, cohesive development that makes sense and works with the Aldi site and fits into the town center overlay district as a whole. And as we look at that, we find that we have compatibility with these three goals, and we feel that that we've achieved this part of the requirement. The second factor that the town code brings up is compatibility with neighboring land uses. So we look at the existing relationships between suburban residential and community business and general business, and we find that those districts intersect all within our project area. And what we're really doing is a boundary line adjustment. We're not introducing a new zone where one does not exist. We're really just looking at the size and shape of this parcel and looking at it as we marry it to the Aldi's parcel, which is next to it, which has a deep general business zone. And we're mirroring that so that we can provide a development that makes sense across both pieces of property. The third factor speaks to preservation of land values. Now, we heard here tonight some people from Woodhaven Development that look at town center as an asset, and clearly it is. I mean, what the town has done with the town center zone has really driven a higher quality of life for people who have access to it, and the people that live in the developments that surround the general business zone, the town center overlay district, clearly have access to this asset. It's a quality of life issue that people who don't have access envy and are seeking to achieve and are approaching the town to build a sidewalk to provide that access. So where we sometimes look at commercial uses adjacent to residential uses as maybe a negative impact on property values, we say we have the opportunity to do something here that enhances the town center overlay district and really has a positive impact on these neighboring properties. In the process, we're gonna take a vacant property that's sat vacant for years, and we're gonna provide an attractive and orderly redevelopment for it, and we're gonna fill in that spot in the town center overlay zone that currently needs to be filled in. Item number 4 speaks to the preservation of neighborhood character. So we want to look at Route 50 first because we really have two neighborhoods here. Route 50, clearly straightforward, commercial. There's a mix of large retail uses such as the Market 32, Hannaford, and Target, and then interspersed with smaller retail, restaurants, and banks, the Trustco, Sunmark, CVS, Midas, Salvation Army, Subway, Dunkin' Donuts, Applebee's. So it's all there. This is where the commercial development is in town. This is all general business, and what we're proposing with this piece of property fits nicely into that. With respect to the residential zone on Sheffield Road, and this is what I think we want to spend a little bit of time looking at, I want to repeat that the parcels that we're dealing with are physically and contiguous to the general business zone. The entire depth of the properties that we seek to rezone have a general business zone next to them, and there is existing and proposed screening that will continue to screen the residential zone from the commercial uses. So I want to bring your attention to this bird's eye view. And again, this is number 7 Sheffield, which will be the first lot in the residential zone if this moves forward. This house is number 3. So the general business boundary will follow this line right here. And this is where we're looking at right here. This is the western edge of the proposed pad site. And there you can see there's a pretty substantial vegetative buffer that exists. There's a hedge that runs the length of that property line. It's very dense. And there are also a couple of existing trees that we want to preserve, we want to protect. 2 deciduous trees here and an evergreen back here. So it's a little hard to see in the bird's eye view, so I just want to show you a street level view of that hedge. You can see that's a very full hedge, and this is that first deciduous tree that sits within that what we're going to call this 30-foot wide buffer that we're going to create, that we're required to create actually by the zoning ordinance between the residential zone and the commercial zone. So we were asked to look at schematically how we would treat that buffer area. So we provided a sketch. We don't have a plan for the development site. This is the pad site here. We don't have a footprint. We don't have a building. We don't have a tenant for that yet. This is the Aldi site up here. But what we do know is that this 30-foot strip will not be touched. And in fact, actually, that's not correct. It will be touched. It will be enhanced. We will preserve this existing hedge. There's those 2 trees in the rear. There's that 1 tree in the front. And then we're going to come in and build a small berm, not a large berm, because we really want to be sensitive to those existing trees, and we don't want to add a lot of fill next to them. We want to make sure that the trees and the hedge survive. So we can get a 1 to 2 foot berm within that space and plant a mixture of conifers and deciduous trees and shrubs within the buffer to really fill it out and make it dense and actually very attractive. And then along Sheffield Road, we would add the street trees that you can see here, and they go in at 30 feet on center, and that's right out of the town's landscaping guidelines. Deciduous trees, the code requires a pretty significant caliber. I believe they're 2.5 or 3 inch caliber trees, which is right off the bat, it's going to be a nice tree. So that will create this attractive entrance to the residential area. And then when we do come in with a development on the pad site, there will be a building in there, and that will have additional landscaping in addition to what we're doing in the buffer in the street. So the whole thing will present as a very nicely developed site. It will really finish off that corner, and we feel it's going to be quite an attractive improvement over what's there today. Okay, so I have one more slide. There's just one more factor in the code that we have to consider, and basically it's everything else that the zoning ordinance says. It states that its purpose is to protect. So there's a list of things: protect the aquifer. The Great Flat Aquifer exists under most of the town in this area. I would say it's safe to say the entire general business zone lies over the aquifer. We look at it all the time. When the Planning and Zoning Commission reviews projects, they do seeker, they consider any potential impact on the aquifer. This project will be no different. Wetlands, floodplains, viewsheds, there are none here. The zoning ordinance seeks to encourage parks and open space and recreational uses, and we're neutral on that requirement. Maintain rural western Glenville, we're not there. Protect scenic vistas and water views, again, we are neutral on this item. Preserve historic and significant structures, there are none here. Minimize traffic congestion. Here we have an opportunity to create the pad site development connected to the Aldi site, create opportunities for traffic to flow back and forth, as well as to Route 50. And again, this is consistent with the transportation goal in the master plan, in the town center master plan. increase housing options to a larger demographic. We're neutral on that. Decrease the property tax burden and increase commercial tax base. I think it's pretty clear that there's a positive impact from this project. Promote public access to the Mohawk River. There's nothing we can do with that one. And finally, foster community identity and character by focusing on the town center. And that is really what this project is all about. This project is an infill project in the town center. Straightening out this boundary really lets us do something with this property that is going to be an enhancement to the town center overlay district, and it's going to be an asset to the people that live around it.
Tony, can you go back to the previous slide? I just want to point out one thing. Some residents have asked if there's no development plan now, why do it? And it's really because, I have a point or two. Because this piece actually is the property that part of the driveway goes on. So the Aldi site requires, the redevelopment of that site requires this zone change. People need to understand that, because I think people in their minds think they're two different properties, and there's no reason for Aldi's for this zone change, but that's not true.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. That is true.
And the second thing I just want to point out, I know we had a lot of folks talk about fast food. Although the zone change may allow for it, there is no plans for fast food. I mean, it's not like that's a done deal.
We don't have any tenants signed up for this site right now. Really, the zone change is going to make the site much more marketable. So once the project is done and it's a real developable site, then we're going to have a lot more, I think, opportunity to attract the user. And that's really what we need to do, is we need to get these zoning boundary adjustment taken care of so that we can go to a potential tenant and say, we've got a real site, and this is something that is approvable.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? That was it for the slides, right?
Yes.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
Could you just go back to just the bird's eye view?
Sure.
I was just wondering about the buffering. So the buffering, you were very clear about the buffering that would exist between 3 and 7 Sheffield. Is there also buffering behind 7?
Well, there is some existing vegetation behind 7.
Yeah, there.
That line right there is currently, the area beyond behind 7 is currently zoned general business. So this site is part of the Aldi site plan. So the landscaping plan for the Aldi site will address that buffering. All we're addressing here with this application is the rezone application, which is this is really this piece right here. So the buffer between the commercial and residential zone is really this 30-foot wide strip. Now, granted, there are provisions in the zoning ordinance that address what needs to happen on the Aldi site, but we are not here presenting that tonight. That's really part of that application.
One other question. I think some neighbors talked about traffic. You're not looking at putting any type of an exit on Sheffield, correct?
If you look at the concept plan that Aldi's did, they've provided us with a proposed curb cut here. The intersection, the signalized intersection is up here. So Aldi's requires this curb cut for the secondary access to get the trucks into the Aldi store. The pad site would very easily use that access. We've contemplated using that access, and in fact, it's located where it is so that, along this edge, that could be continued, with parking to serve the pad site.
So no.
So yes, to the extent that this plan is approved, we don't need access to Sheffield.
And that's drawn as a rating right now.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Just as a fine point, the existing hedge is on whose property?
The existing hedge is on 3 Sheffield, so it will be owned by the applicant, but it will be maintained and will lie within that buffer area.
Okay, anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We forget where we are. I think we're on the negative deck still, and we do have a motion, and it is before us. So with that, any questions or comments?
Well, I would just say, I appreciate the information provided, on the buffer as requested. There's been some dialogue and communications back and forth, since the public hearing. I appreciate that. For me, I think the question of the buffer treatment is resolved in regards to the rezoning. I would like to make sure that this information is passed on to the Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as the minutes of both our public hearing and this meeting. I think we're there. I just read on my phone again, part 2 of the seeker long form, that this resolution is in reference to, and I paid particular attention to the aesthetic questions there, and the community character questions. And I think it's very reasonable to say it's a negative declaration in this instance. These issues where we have commercial property butting up against residential property are never easy. There are areas of conflict, to be sure. And I think the applicant has demonstrated a plan that takes the edges off of that conflict, so to speak. To me, that 30-foot buffer is very important, certainly on this rezoning site along the entire edge. And I have complete faith in the Planning and Zoning Commission of doing a good job of making sure that buffer treatment is consistent. I would imagine, Tony, this is a look and treatment that you will carry through that entire buffer for the sake of aesthetic consistency on your own site. I'm not going to hold you to that, but I would expect that to be the case.
I'm not sure I understand that.
I mean, you've got certain treatment and the design started here.
Right.
And I would imagine as that buffer area carries up and around and behind the entire Aldi building, we'll see similar treatments in that buffer area. I know it's not part of our consideration.
And I can't speak to the Aldi thing because I am not their engineer. They would clearly the connecting point here, the connecting link is the Planning and Zoning Commission. So the Planning and Zoning Commission will be reviewing the Aldi's plan. They'll have say over what the landscaping treatments are on the Aldi's plan.
Okay.
And that plan being that it is, that site being that it is general business, and it's subject to the same requirements that this site will be if and when it is rezoned.
Okay.
Thank you, Gene. I'm impressed that you read part 2 of some long form on your phone. That's very impressive. You can't even play solitaire on that, so thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catellani?
Yes.
Councilman Hennel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 9, acting on a zoning map amendment proposal that will change the zoning of this very parcel we just mentioned. Do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this is the resolution, as you just alluded to, that actually enacts the zone change for the subject parcel at 3 Sheffield Road from suburban residential to general business. I'm not going to, quite a lengthy resolution. Again, I appreciate Mike for being very detailed as he always is with these resolutions. But that's essentially what it does. And it builds in a number of notations that we've been making through the review of this. So that's it.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to echo Councilman Martin's concern or appreciation of the fact of the buffer that's being proposed, and I think that is critical to this, and without that, I couldn't support it. But I think this is good, also, as well as the not having access on Sheffield, I think also will minimize the impact of that.
And it's fortunate we have an existing mature hedgerow there. That's helpful as well.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catellani?
Yes.
Councilman Hennel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. So why don't you go ahead and...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Would you like a copy of the presentation?
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great for the record.
Just one?
How many do you have?
10?
Oh, yeah, we'll take them all, one for each. We love free gifts that have nominal value.
Especially full color.
We want to make sure that the copy of this gets in the hands of the planning board and the planning staff.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. We need help carrying that, isn't it? We'll give you a few minutes to figure out before we go to the next resolution. I'll very much. Move on to the next item on the agenda, which is Resolution 10, setting a public hearing regarding proposed change regarding regulations for the public sewers of the code regarding permitted unpolluted water and discharge in the town sanitary sewer. Do I have a motion? A second.
Second.
Moved in second. Anyone want to make any sense of that?
I don't know that I can. All I'm going to say is that this resolution would set a public hearing here at Town Hall, 18 Glenridge Road, Wednesday, June 14, 2017, at 7 p.m. To hear all persons interested in the proposal of law to amend section 17-6 regulations for use of public sewers.
Yeah, get a little bit.
Actually, this is necessitated by the cleanup of the Kenco site. There's currently a stream that runs through that site, and DEC has approached the town about diverting the stream during the cleanup process so that water doesn't run through there. The best way to divert it is into the public sewer system, but currently our town code doesn't permit that. Generally, DEC doesn't like unpolluted and groundwater to go into the sanitary sewer. That's the closest connection and the least expensive alternative. We had a meeting with DEC. The city has connected us. That's where our sewage is treated. And all of the parties are in agreement with this plan. So this is the technical fix to enable us to go forward.
So this is one step closer to getting the Kenco site cleaned out.
Yes.
All for that.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catalani?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Rosbowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution authorizing the purchase of a water pressure regulating valve. Do I have a motion? Second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, the Commissioner of Public Works has advised the town board that a water pressure regulating valve installed on Lower Boston Road is at the end of its useful life. The replacement of this valve was scheduled for 2017. The expense was anticipated and included within the water department maintenance repairs operating budget line as adopted in the 2017 budget. This is a sole source specialized piece of equipment custom built by Ross Valve, Troy, New York, with the valve itself measuring 9 feet in length by 7 feet in width by 7 feet in height, with a delivery time of estimated to 8 to 12 weeks for after placement on the order. This resolution therefore would authorize the Commissioner of Public Works to purchase one pressure regulating valve from Ross Valve Manufacturing Company located in Troy, New York for a sum including delivery, offloading by overhead crane, installation, and testing not to exceed $42,000 with the said expense included in the 2017 adopted budget.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catalani?
Yes.
Councilman Hill?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosbowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution 12, approving an application for a certain parade. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this is a resolution for the Burnt Hills Balsam Lake Business Professional Association to hold their 16th annual Flag Day Parade on June 8th, and they will be using the parade route along Kingsley Road, and this is a resolution basically authorizing the town clerk to issue the permit and waive the permit fee for that parade.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catalani?
Yes.
Councilman Hill?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosbowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. We'll take up item number 2, which is a resolution setting a public hearing for Fieldstone Partners LLC regarding the waiver of the street width. Do I have a motion?
I will move it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Before we take up a discussion on it, I'd like to entertain an amendment to the resolution to change the date from Wednesday, June 21st to Wednesday, June 14th. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'll move that amendment.
Do I have a second?
Second the amendment.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on the amendment? Seeing none, please record the vote for the amendment.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittlebaum?
Yes.
Councilman Howell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes, so the resolution as amended, add-on 2 is a resolution setting a public hearing for Wednesday, June 14th, here, for any person who wishes to be heard on the Fieldstone Partners LLC waiver of street standards. Do I have we have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments on the amended resolution?
I think you just explained it, so, yeah,
Excellent. We're trying to pick up speed. So, with none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittlebaum?
Yes.
Councilman Howell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 13, approving the monthly departmental reports for April 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion, questions, comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittlebaum?
Yes.
Councilman Howell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 14, approving the town board minutes for April 19th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion, changes? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittlebaum?
I don't believe I was here. Was it? Okay. I know I was out for 3 months. It's just all pleasant.
I think that might have been your first one back.
Okay.
I will abstain as I was not here.
Are you sure?
I knew one of us wasn't.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
I was here, so I will vote yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 15, approving the town board minutes for May 3rd, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittlebaum?
I know I was here. Yes.
Councilman Howell?
I was here, yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution is an add-on resolution 3, establishing the standard workdays for the New York State retirement system for elected officials. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We brought this up last time. This is, again, just establishing a standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials for the state retirement system. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittlebaum?
Yes.
Councilman Howell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution, add-on 4, amending resolution 115 of 2017 regarding the town and village joint municipal survey committee. Resolution to increase the committee's total membership to 10 by adding 2 additional residents of the town to the committee. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. For background, as you recall, we created this committee. We had set it up for 1 resident to be appointed. There's been a variety of folks interested, so both the village and the town have agreed to add 2 more residents of each, 2 from the village and 2 from the town. The village passed their resolution last week, and this will bring our portion up to match their number.
So now that we've achieved, amazing détente here,
Yes.
when is this first meeting to be held?
Well, the next step now will be to appoint, so they also have a few folks interested, so they'll be looking at their appointments, we'll be looking at our appointments, we'll have to do resolutions appointing, and then we'll start the discussion. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittlebaum?
Yes.
Councilman Howell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
I vote yes, and I would like to thank the supervisor for all of his work in collaborating with the village. I think this is going to be a really great committee for the residents to be engaged in, and I'm looking forward to see what they come up with, so I vote yes.
Thank you.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, add on resolution 5, authorizing the town supervisor to enter into a public benefit service agreement that specifies the terms and conditions of a certain grant. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this is good news. The town of Glenville has actually been named as a recipient of a 2017 Schenectady County Initiative Program Grant in the amount of $1,500 to support the Glenville Oktoberfest, which actually will be held on September 30th. And this is a resolution basically accepting that and agreeing to the public benefit services agreement that goes with that $1,500 donation or grant.
Excellent. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, report of the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catalano?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Before we take up resolution 16, let's move on to add-on resolution number 6 to get that done. And that's a resolution authorizing the Commissioner of Public Works to consent to to engage in a consent order. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mike, do you want to do this one?
We had an incident where a backhoe operated like a town, struck a natural gas service line back in January. That there was an issue with respect to marking. Disappearance of the markings when that occurred. So the town was cited by the Public Service Commission for basically a violation of the Dig Safe New York program. They initially sought a fine of $2,500. Commissioner, Highway Superintendent Capola, and I requested a hearing. We ended that hearing, made our case there, and they now agreed to a reduced fine of $1,000, and with the proviso that the town, if anyone involved in excavation work, undertake training, and the superintendent has already had all of his crew undergo that training, so we just need to enter into this agreement in order to benefit from the reduced fine.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catalano?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution is add-on number 7, calling for that special meeting you referred to for June 14th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catalano?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Now, before we go into 16, which is the resolution authorizing the executive session, as I mentioned earlier, we will go into the other room, we'll discuss our business relating to personnel matters, we'll come back and take up the last 3 items on the agenda. To the students in the room, I will tell you this, you learned a lesson tonight. Never wait till the last minute. Try to find the shortest meeting that we post and go to that one. Okay? So we're not going to make you sit through the executive session discussion and come back. If you want to come up, once we go in executive session, wait, she's already moving. Wait till we go to executive session, hang on. We'll sign, anyone can sign up here your thing and we'll get you out of here. I think it was an interesting night. Did you learn anything?
I never want to run for the town board.
You never want to do this job. So with that, I'll take up a resolution for going to executive session. Do you have a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Catalano?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, we're in public, we're in executive session. Everyone set?
Yep.
Okay, the town board came back into general session at 8:55. Is that close enough? And take up item number 17, a resolution to amend the 2017 adopted budget to eliminate a certain position in the highway and to create a certain position in town hall. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. As you can read the resolution, this has been a long-standing attempt to reorganize Department of Public Works and our town hall employees, and it necessitates a change from the senior account clerk typist, which was assigned to work at the highway department garage for 40 hours of work consistent with the hours of highway department employees with a 2017 annual salary, as you see, is in the resolution. And this would change that to a town hall, a senior account clerk typist position in the town hall. It is consistent with the 35-hour work schedule of the town hall CSEA unit member. And that salary, as you can see, is in the resolution. And that is effective Sunday, as of Sunday, May 28th, 2017. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittavani?
No.
Councilman Hennel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Ketzler?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution, 18, authorizing the promotion of certain highway department employees. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, this is a resolution as a result of a number of retirements where we're looking to actually promote some individuals that are within the highway department and recognizing their admirable performance. So we're looking at taking five individuals and promoting them. Christopher Kreutz to machine equipment operator heavy, Michael Guzzo to MEO medium, Joseph Batzinger to MEO medium, Jonathan Scherer to MEO light, and Joseph Labrie to MEO light. And this would be effective a number of different dates. Mr. Kreutz was on the March 20th, and the rest will be effective May 1st, 2017.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Pittavani?
Yes.
Councilman Hennel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Ketzler?
Yes, resolution passes. The last item on the agenda is new business, and we'll start on my left with Councilman Hennel.
No new business.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski.
I have none.
Councilman Martin.
Nothing new?
Councilman Pittavani.
No new business.
I guess the only thing I would say is the Memorial Day Parade next week.
Next Wednesday.
24th?
Yes.
24th. What time does it start?
6:15, got to be at your place at 5:30.
Okay, so 6:15, 5:30. And it's a great parade, and hope for good weather.
Don't forget the chicken barbecue ahead of time.
That's right. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.